Live from the studios at WFXB Fox TV. This is Fox Midday News.
Welcome to Fox Midday News on FXB Fox TV. I'm BJ Kinard.
And I'm Laura Pence. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to tell you later who is set to guest host Jeopardy.
Yep, and that was the only news that happened yesterday. We have nothing else to cover off on.
Major understatement. All
right, well, first, yesterday afternoon, a mob of President Trump supporters stormed the Capitol during the Electoral College vote count. Thousands of rioters forcefully broke their way past security into the buildings by smashing windows and damaging other federal property. Members of Congress were evacuated and moved to an undisclosed location. Minutes later, the mob reached the Senate floor where a police-involved armed standoff took place. Simultaneously, government offices were ransacked and desecrated. 2 pipe bombs were also safely dismantled, one outside each of the RNC and DNC buildings. Police further recovered Molotov cocktails, numerous firearms, and more from the premises.
A woman who was part of the mob was shot and killed on Capitol grounds by police, and 3 other men were confirmed dead from separate medical emergencies. At least 14 officers were also hurt, with 2 requiring hospitalization. It took several hours before the National Guard was mobilized on Vice President Pence's authority and a city curfew instilled. In the end, at least 52 arrests were made. The FBI is currently seeking the public's help in identifying anyone who participated in the Capitol breach.
Yeah, all about 4 of those were people who got arrested for breaking curfew. So none of the ones that actually went into the Capitol building, but that's where they're looking for that help. There's a lot of people who had their pictures taken without their masks on for everyone to see.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, it's going to be pretty easy to find them. Just give them a little bit of time and they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and those are federal charges they'll be facing.
That's true. It's now being reported that members of President Trump's cabinet have discussed invoking the 25th Amendment. The 25th details procedures for replacing a president should he become incapacitated, resign, removed, or die. In this case, some high-ranking officials have placed blame on the president for what they believe was his open encouragement of the marchers in D.C. However, to do so would require the support of the vice president. In the past, Pence has been against the idea. As of now, it's unlikely to go through.
Impeachment is also once again being discussed. Following the chaos at the Capitol building, Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar was quick to draw up new articles. A number of Congress people have already publicly voiced their support. While it may seem futile when President Trump only has 2 weeks left in office, if approved, he will not be able to run for president again. At this time, it's unclear how serious any of these conversations are. Amid the Capitol storm, President Trump was temporarily locked out of multiple social media accounts. Twitter was the first to bite the bullet. For months, they've been criticized for both suppressing freedom of speech and not doing enough to stop the spread of misinformation. A lot of this conversation circled around the president's posts, which were repeatedly flagged but rarely removed. Then yesterday afternoon, the president issued a video statement in an attempt to quell the rioters, where he repeated his baseless claims of the election being stolen.
It was for that reason Twitter removed the video and several other tweets before putting a 12-hour hold on his account. In an official statement, Twitter claimed the president violated their rules for inciting violence. They added if similar future offenses are committed, President Trump's account would be permanently suspended. Facebook and Instagram followed suit, blocking the president from posting through the end of his presidency. While the violence in the Capitol ensued, Democrats were projected to win control of the Senate. Georgia entered into 2 Senate runoff races after no clear winners were named during the general election in November. It left the Senate in a state of animated suspension for weeks as incumbent Republican Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue risked being unseated by Democratic challengers. Early yesterday morning, Reverend Raphael Warnock was projected the winner of his race. Hours later, the election was called in Jon Ossoff's favor.
The 2 candidates will make history as they become the first Black and Jewish senators to represent Georgia. Ossoff will also become the Congress's current youngest senator. The declaration of their win will also unilaterally tip the balance of power in Democrats' favor as they now hold the presidency as well as majority in the House and now Senate. With the Senate evenly split, President-elect Kamala Harris will decide any future tiebreakers. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were officially certified as the next president and vice president early this morning.
To those who wreaked havoc in our Capitol today, you did not win. Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house. And as we reconvene in this chamber, the world will again witness the resilience and strength of our democracy.
The joint congressional session to count the Electoral College votes entered a temporary recess during the raid on the Capitol, but it ultimately did not stop members of Congress from fulfilling their duty. It was thanks to some quick thinking by Senate aides that the boxes containing the votes were evacuated along with all the state lawmakers. Around 8 p.m. when the building was secured, proceedings resumed as usual.
At 3:41 this morning, Biden was confirmed to be the next U.S. president by Vice President Pence. Minutes later, President Trump issued a statement through his Deputy Chief of Staff's Twitter account where he committed to an orderly transition on January 20th. Despite his promise, an emergency order has been extended through the next 2 weeks in the D.C. area. It's expected to end after the inauguration.
A lot of people breathed a sigh of relief when he said that he would allow a smoother transition, and he again said he would never concede the election. At least he's going to maybe smooth things over a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Even so, though, the National Guard is going to remain active until the inauguration is over.
Yeah, so hopefully things will go peaceful from this moment forward.
We hope so. All right, now here's our weatherman Tyler Ryan with a first look at your local Foxcast.
Well, good afternoon to you, BJ, Laura, looking spiffy as always. Well, not so spiffy necessarily up near the Outer Banks. Cloudy conditions. Oh, don't worry, we've got our clouds coming as well. Right now we're looking all right. For the most part, a lot of nice sunshine out there. Temperatures on the cool side. Yeah, scraping some cars off today, were we? Yeah, how about Georgetown? Brilliant blue skies, but you can just almost look at it and it feels cold. It almost feels cold looking at it. All right, Camden 39 degrees, 43 along the coast, and 41 Marion in Florence, and a bit of light wind force beginning to pick up a touch. 3 miles an hour in Florence, 5 at the beach, 7 in Georgetown. So we're going to deal with a little bit of breeze in there. That'll pick up a little later tonight into tomorrow, quite gusty indeed. Right now our Foxcast radar is looking good. We get a little bit of ground clutter over in Columbia. Greenville's looking all right. And yeah, we're right now a few clouds out there, but for the most part a clear situation. That is going to change. Here's our future cast. You start seeing clouds just kind of in and around, nothing major. 1 o'clock or so, those clouds continue to increase. The rain doesn't get here just yet, so we'll still see glimpses of sunshine. But by 9 o'clock, all the way into Florence at this point, sneaking up 17, this is what we're talking about. This big old blob of rain, this big pocket of low pressure, and could be very gusty, and thunder showers touching off as well. About 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you see we get to the mid-morning, or the early morning rather, just in time for the morning commute. Roads will be wet, visibility not great, very cold. Not cold enough for snow, mind you, but still just cold, raw driving rain for a lot of the day, on again, off again. If you're looking for any kind of winter weather, like you want to go ahead and take a snowman and build it, you have to go up to North Carolina. Yeah, we're not doing that down here. So 11 o'clock or so, we'll stay cloudy, we'll stay gloomy, and we'll stay raw as we go through the day. You see 4 o'clock or so. Finally, about 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that area, we'll really start drying out, setting up for a pretty decent weekend as we go. The Pooch Planner! Stella and Roxy, courtesy of KK Yanko from Instagram. You can drop me yours at Tyler Ryan Online. It's Instagram and Facebook. We'd love to share your pooches. Yeah. All right. Well, Stella and Roxy, if you're taking a walk with Mama today, about 50 is the aggregate temperature. Nice sunshine, but do it early because here comes the rain, pretty Mama. Yeah. All right, y'all. Coming up, the rather frosty beach report. But first, the latest on a wreck that took the life of a local hero. We're going to update you what we have. Stay close.
Welcome back. A Marion County deputy killed in a crash last night has been identified. 29-year-old Deputy Jonathan Price was killed while in the line of duty. The crash, which also killed the driver of the other vehicle, occurred along Maiden Down Road and Lauren Court around 11 p.m. Deputy Price served with the Marion County Sheriff's Office and the City of Dillon Police Department. He leaves behind a wife and 3 young children.
South Carolina lawmakers have reacted to the riot in the U.S. Capitol yesterday afternoon. Representative Tom Rice was actually there and in the middle of a debate when the violence broke out. He confirmed his safe evacuation and demanded peace, later referring to the situation as an absolute disaster. Senator Lindsey Graham also voiced his grievances once the Electoral College vote count resumed, stating enough is enough. He did not object to the certification of President-elect Biden last night, despite being a longtime supporter of President Trump, due to the lack of evidence presented on potential widespread fraud.
The U.S. Attorney for South Carolina has issued a warning against residents who participated in yesterday's riot. In a statement to Twitter, Attorney Peter McCoy said, "Let me be perfectly clear. Federal crimes were violated today at our nation's Capitol building." He promised anyone who traveled from South Carolina to attend the march and commit acts of destruction will be federally prosecuted by his department and to the fullest extent of the law.
While chaos ensued in the U.S. Capitol, protests also took place outside the South Carolina State House. A Stop the Steal event was organized for those unable to attend the protest in D.C. Many recognized their actions wouldn't change the results, but they still wanted their demands for a totally legitimate election process to be heard. Unlike in D.C., there was not a single incident of physical violence reported. Instead, there were moments of prayer and singing of the national anthem.
Yeah, glad to hear that was peaceful. At least a little bit of good news there.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to go. That is our First Amendment right. So let's keep it going like this if we can. All right, for a live look at today's weather, here's a bird's eye view of North Beach Resort and Villas. You're watching Fox Midday News.
Welcome back. It's a little chilly out today, but if you're planning on going to the beach or going fishing, here's everything you're going to need. Tyler is back with a look at today's local beach report.
Today's Beach Report is brought to you by Myrtle Beach Kia. Call 444-8000 or shop online at myrtlebeachkia.net.
Guys, it is Captain Tyler Ryan with a look at your rather breezy beach report. Yeah, a little cool too. First, let's go ahead and take a look at that airport cam out along the row. Not too bad, a mix of clouds and sun out there. It is very chilly. Temperatures sitting in the 40s, so not a terribly warm day. Overall, not a bad one, but things are going to start deteriorating over the next, say, 8 hours or so. Let's go back and take a look at the Foxcast radar. Cloud cover starting to come in. You can see it working its way all the way down the coast, Holden Beach, down into North Myrtle, Atlantic. You can see right there, we don't have a lot of rain just yet, but again, in about 8 hours or so, things are changing dramatically for us. Garden City's looking good. Look, expand this thing back out again. Let's go ahead and take a look at that North Myrtle Resort cam. I mean, you can see pretty conditions, right? The sun's reflecting off the water. It looks nice. Sure it does. It looks cold though. Yeah, not a lot of people out there at all. In fact, I've seen, I think, one person walking a dog in the last little while. That's about it. Yeah, as far as that forecast, here's how it sits for us. Tomorrow, rainy, cold in the 40s, slightly warmer down in Folly, but 53, but still, we're dealing with rain showers pretty much on again, off again for the whole day. Is it a washout? No, probably not. The washout's tonight. Yeah, tonight it's going to be raining a lot. As far as your fishing report, about 1 foot seas out there right now, so rough, light chop. Overall, not bad. But early evening rain's coming in. We have cold rain to deal with, so that's kind of where that sits. And as far as the actual beach report itself, high tide was just about in, about an hour or so, maybe a little more for high tide. Low tide's out of here, 8:20 tonight. Low UV index, and that water temp continues to be cool. So just be aware of all that. Just be safe if you're out on the water.
Welcome back. A second round of stimulus payments are on the way. So when will eligible individuals and families receive the money? Mandy Gaither explains in today's Consumer Watch.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
In a sweeping pandemic aid bill passed just before Christmas, Congress approved $600 stimulus payments for each eligible person. The first of those payments started going out on December 29th. You may have seen it pending in your account, but the funds officially became available Monday. The payments will continue to be sent through January 15th. But anyone eligible who isn't automatically sent the money by then will have to claim it on their 2020 tax return, according to the IRS. Paper checks or debit cards will be sent to those who don't already have a bank account on file with the IRS. Checks also began going out last week. People can check the status of both their first and second stimulus payments by using the Internal Revenue Service's Get My Payment Online tool. Some people may not receive the money the same way as in the first round. If you were sent a preloaded debit card last year, the payment will not be added to that card. You'll either receive a new card in the mail or a paper check. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
I knew some people were starting to get those checks because Facebook, people started to post, hey, I got my check, have you gotten yours? So I knew something was up.
Yeah, so if you need that, hopefully that'll be coming for you soon.
Yep.
All right, now here's Tyler with a final look at your local 7-day Foxcast.
4 words for you. Show me the money. Yeah. Where's mine? Whew. All right, show me some sunshine. Well, it looks like Pembroke are okay. Wilmington looks nice. Getting some cloud cover in Columbia. Greenville already sneaking in some clouds right now. We're still for the most part sunny, although this will be changing over the next little bit. 45 degrees along the coastal areas in Florence as well. Yesterday's highs, take a look at this. 58 in Jackson, 73. I don't think it was 73 in Kansas City. Just saying that. I don't think so. Billings, 50 degrees. Overall, not too bad. Today, though, that cooler air is sneaking in. 38 in Nashville, 39 in Cincinnati. Over in Columbia, 42. Same as our nation's capital, 42 degrees this afternoon. It's cloud cover starting to sneak in. You can start seeing that come in. Moisture, rain, that's a few hours away. So we still got a decent afternoon in front of us. Things aren't terribly warm, though. Chilly start. Clouds begin to build, and that cold, cold rain is coming. Hey, Tyler, how cold's it going to get? It's going to get cold. That's how cold it's going to get. 48 degrees tomorrow for a high. We don't get out of the 40s, so just a raw, rainy day. We do have a nice weekend ahead, though. 50, 52 over the weekend. Super nice. As we move inland, pretty much that same story. 41 degrees over in Florence, inland just a touch. Just a really yucky day. Again, not really a concern for snow or ice. We're talking 38 in the eye. I think we're going to be okay. But look at this. Saturday, Sunday look to be pretty decent. All right, y'all. Oh, and it's like the manufactured drama in Hollywood itself. So the moving of one of those pat yourself on the back award shows has got the ire of another self-gratulatory show. Oh, they're going to duke it out. It should be entertaining, and it's coming up in just a bit.
Welcome back. Find out who wants to play Jon Ossoff on Saturday Night Live. This is What's Hot in Hollywood. But first, Katie Couric is slated to guest host Jeopardy following the late Alex Trebek's final episodes. The 64-year-old network news star will be among the first to take on the job following Trebek's passing in November. Couric declined to comment on whether or not she is considering taking up the position full-time.
Yep, today is Katie Couric's birthday, so happy birthday to her. And starting next week, it'll be one Ken Jennings who will be filling in for the first little batch, and then Katie will do it.
It'll be interesting to see who else they throw in there.
Yeah, I know Lamar Burton, I think, is supposed to do it. He was a fan favorite, so we'll see if he does as well. All right, it looks like Zach Braff is lobbying to play newly elected Senator Jon Ossoff on Saturday Night Live. This week's episode is undoubtedly going to parody the events of this week, which includes the Georgia runoff elections called yesterday afternoon. The 45-year-old Scrubs actor tweeted at series creator Lorne Michaels saying he's got this. While the two do look very similar, Braff is 12 years older than Ossoff.
I will say they don't look that much different in age, I thought.
They do not. I don't know if that's good for Zach or bad for John, but either way, hopefully we'll see him on TV.
All right, it's the clash of Hollywood award shows. SAG-AFTRA is now speaking up after the 63rd Grammy Awards were postponed to March 14th. In a statement, SAG said they were extremely disappointed by their now conflicting award show dates. SAG selected that same March date back in July. Taking into account all the other shows, they're now asking for that same consideration from the Grammys.
Well, members from Georgia-Florida line, either state's fine, is going solo, but they're still staying together. The country duo Tyler Hubbard and Brian Kelly announced they're releasing individual albums. 35-year-old Kelly is currently working on his, with 33-year-old Hubbard set to release Undivided next Wednesday. This all comes shortly after the two entered into a political spat several weeks ago and took some time apart, but the musicians assured the band was not breaking up. as their upcoming album Life Rolls On is still set for a February release.
Yeah, good for them, doing some stuff for themselves.
Yeah, they said they did some soul searching, and we'll have it out soon.
All right, well, we are all out of time for today, but we'll be back again tomorrow.
Stay safe. So long. Have a good day.